Tapio.
Läiskelle.
Hyvä.
Se mitä yritettiin tonne taakse, se U-puutti, joka oli liian pieni, ei kun liian iso. Muistat se, mitä te porasitte? On. And this is sandwich. And you're somewhere here. I think we have it.
Couso. La question cadeau du jour, je vous invite à venir la découvrir pour gagner des lots ici sur le stand métier, intérim et CDI sous votre espace Golden de Braix. Ça fait partie des travaux d'avant-course.
Oui, mais
Il y a le nom du sais que c'est un bateau très lourd.
Encore c'est.
Good morning, Tapio. After 1 year of preparation, how do you feel to be in Les Sables d'Olonne?
Well, it feels like the party has begun. I'm really enjoying being here. It's a fantastic place, but at the same time we have a long to-do list, so it's a lot of work to be done still.
How did you get this idea to take part of this race?
Well, I read the books of Chichester and Moitessier and Robin Knox Johnston many decades ago, so it's a lifelong dream, and so this timing with having the second edition of the race now was perfect for me.
One week before the start, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm happy to be here and I'm anxious to get the race started. It will be fantastic to get sailing.
Could you explain us what is the history of your boat?
Well, this boat is probably the oldest one in the race. It was built in 1965 and it's designed by Olin Stevens and built by Cantiere Benello in Italy. It's a Gaia 36 is the type of the boat. And at its time, this design was very successful ocean or offshore racing boat. And I have always been a big fan of Olin Stevens. I think the boat has beautiful lines, and I believe that beautiful boats sail well.
Autour du monde, sans escale, sans assistance et sans les moyens électroniques.
I have understood that you have made some big refurbishments on the boat. Could you tell us about it?
At its time, the boat was very modern construction. It is full sandwich laminate, both the hull and the deck. And when we got the boat back to Finland, it turned out that the deck and cabin were very badly delaminated, so we had to remove it altogether, and we ended up doing a extremely thorough refit operation to the boat. So practically it's a totally new boat. Only the shell of the old hull is original.
Could you describe the interiors of the boat?
Well, the interior layout is basically very close to the original. Even the original interior was totally removed, but the bulkheads are roughly in the same place. But I have added 3 watertight bulkheads in the bow and 3 watertight bulkheads in the stern, and also the bulkheads in the middle of the boat are made so that they are ring frames, and when they are attached to longitudinal bulkheads, it makes the hull much more rigid than it was originally. In front I have this is the main bulkhead, and this supports the mast stands on deck, and this is the mast support. So and the chain plates come here, so this is the very strong area of the boat, and the next bulkhead has been moved a bit further back than original, and that is also a ring frame with a submarine door opening forward. So that is the first watertight bulkhead, and then in front there are 2 more watertight bulkheads, making the bow into 3 watertight compartments, and the first one is filled with empty water bottles, so that's the crash box, so that even it would be a hold, it will not fill up with water. The modifications have to do with making the boat safe and functional for single-handed ocean sailing. It will be a very safe boat to move inside because you can grab hold all the time from somewhere.
Since you cannot have any electronics on board or any routing, how will you navigate? With sextant and compass?
The navigation will happen only with help of traditional methods like it was done in 1968, which means using trailing log, compass and sextant. This is one of my sextants. I actually have two spare ones with me too, and this is a new one. And this is the old-fashioned radio direction finder for finding radio beacons. You see the frequency here, and then I listen the beep, which comes in Morse code, and find the direction where the sound disappears, and then I have a magnetic compass here, so I get a bearing to the radio beacon. And this is one of the trailing logs that we are using for measuring the distance sailed. So this will be at the end of the boat, at the transom, and on the line there will be a rotor going around, and I have 3 sets of these with 6 spare rotors, because they say that in light winds the sharks eat up these. And then I have my HF radio is here, and a ham radio here, and then I have a number of different kind of satellite beacons and things. This here is an AIS alarm, which I can, if I turn it on, it starts beeping when there are vessels close to me which have their AIS transponders on. And then I have a radar alarm, which is a similar thing, which alarms if I have a vessel sending radar signals towards me, so that will start beeping. So there are 2 different things which will wake me up when I'm sleeping here in my bunk if I get close to boats. And when I sleep in the bunk, I have an extra compass here, so because the boat will be steered by a wind pilot wind vane to a set angle to the wind, but if the wind direction changes, then the boat will start going to a wrong direction, and I will wake up every half an hour or so and check that I'm still going to the right heading. And as to the weather, the most important way to follow the weather is using the old-fashioned barograph, which draws a line here. I have a barometer here which shows the air pressure, but this is only for this moment. But here I can see whether it's going up or down. So when it's going deep down, I know that it's time to shorten sail. So that's basically it. It's quite simple.
How many sails are you allowed to have on board, and which ones have you chosen?
The rules allow us 11 sails, which is a lot for a small boat like this. Sailing here, I found that I'm going to have a problem fitting all the sails into the boat. When they came from the sail loft, they were neatly packed, but once they have been hoisted and repacked on the deck of the boat, I wonder how I'm going to fit into the boat myself. And I mostly have my food and clothes stored up forward, and then the spinnakers will be there too, but the heavier sails will be down at in the cockpit lockers in the transom of the boat.
Your journey will take almost 1 year. How much food do you have on board and what will you be eating?
As the rules will not allow us to use water makers, so I don't see much point using freeze-dried foods because then I would just need to carry more water. So I can as well have tinned food, which is slightly tastier than the freeze-dried ones. And as to the amount of the food, I probably have too much because the boat is almost sinking. In the pantry I have a two-flame propane cooker with this is a pressure thing, pressure pot, which is safer to use because the lids lock into it, and when the pressure gets up, so it doesn't need as much energy. And I also use propane for heating the boat, so I have a propane heater down here. So when it gets wet and cold in the roaring 40s, I have Velcro around here, so I will close this opening, and also I will close this bulkhead here so that there will be a zipper. So this small central area, which is 190 long and about 2 meters wide, this I'm going to do my best to keep somewhat dry and somewhat warm so that the navigation will be easier and doing the chart work, and also of course sleeping a bit more comfortable.
Thank you for taking the time with us. We will follow your journey online on GGR website, and good luck on the race.
Thank you very much. A sailor always needs good luck.